W magazine sent a writer to meet Alysa Liu at Rockefeller Center in New York City on a Monday afternoon in March 2026. Liu arrived wearing her skates. She stomped across the terrazzo floors in them, ankles tilted slightly outward, completely comfortable in a space most people find awkward to navigate on blades. Bystanders in the corridor broke into spontaneous applause when they saw her. She had not performed. She had not done anything. She had walked across a lobby in skates. And people clapped. Minutes before the interview began, an overzealous fan had attempted to ambush her in the locker room. The day before, she had her first brush with the paparazzi. The new experience of being followed, photographed, tracked without warning or consent, was still fresh enough to notice and not yet routine enough to have developed the 1,000-yard stare that longtime celebrities wear as armor. The W magazine writer sat down with Alysa Liu. And eventually the conversation arrived at the question that the past 4 months of Olympic gold medals and hair flips and 8 million followers and Nike deals and Met Galas and Taylor Swift moments had been building toward. What does all of this actually feel like from the inside? And Alysa Liu said this. I actually don't want to be famous. Then she looked down. She touched the frenulum piercing that has become one of the most recognizable details of her public identity. And she added the second sentence that makes the first one something more than a celebrity complaint. Unfortunately, the things I like to do are just going to make me famous. Let us sit with those two sentences for a moment before we go anywhere else. Because they are doing something very specific and they deserve the full attention their precision requires. I actually don't want to be famous is not a new celebrity statement. Famous people have been saying some version of this for as long as there have been famous people. The complications of public life. The loss of privacy. The way attention changes every interaction. It is a real experience and it is widely reported and it generates a specific kind of sympathy response and a specific kind of eye-rolling response simultaneously. But unfortunately, the things I like to do are just going to make me famous is something different. It is not a complaint. It is not a performance of modesty. It is a precise and completely honest description of a trap that is entirely of Alysa Liu's own making and that she understands completely. She loves skating. She loves performing. She loves being on the ice at the highest level, with the best music and the most difficult programs and the biggest possible audience. She loves the hair flip and the scream into the camera and the Oakland rally and the Fortnite trash talk and the serial photo and the W magazine interview and ice skates in a lobby. She loves all of it. Every single thing she does that makes the world pay attention to her, she does because she genuinely loves doing it. And the world paying attention is the byproduct of the loving. She cannot have the skating she loves without the fame she does not want. She cannot be completely herself in public without the public responding to that self. She cannot eat cereal in a trash talk and say I eat these crowns for breakfast without 8 million people deciding she is the most authentic human being alive and following her for more. The things she likes to do are just going to keep making her famous. She knows it. She said it. And she said it with the specific resigned acceptance of someone who has looked clearly at the situation and decided that the alternative, not doing the things she loves, is not available to her. She is going to be famous. Because she cannot stop being herself. The W magazine piece assembles the full picture of what the past 4 months have actually cost and given Alysa Liu in ways that the individual moments cannot show alone. And some of the details in it have not been widely covered. She ate an edible gold medal made of Lucky Charms marshmallows with Al Roker on the Today Show. The bowl of marshmallows is currently her Instagram profile picture. 8 million people follow an Instagram account whose profile picture is a bowl of Lucky Charms. That is the Alysa Liu situation in one sentence. She sat front row at Nicolas Gasquier's Fall-Winter 2026 show for Louis Vuitton in Paris, wearing a brown denim jacket and matching baggy jeans. Not dressed by a stylist for a front row moment. In her own clothes. At the most formal fashion event of the season. In baggy jeans. And Gasquier's team put her in the front row anyway because her presence was worth more than any dress code. She presented Taylor Swift with Artist of the Year at the iHeartRadio Music Awards and told the entire audience she thought Taylor's narration was why Team USA won Olympic gold. "We covered that night in full in an earlier script. But the W Magazine piece is where the texture of that evening gets its fullest treatment." The writer was there. The writer saw the applause when she walked onto the stage. The writer saw Swift bury her face in Kelsey's shoulder. The writer understood what it meant that a figure skater was the most applauded presenter of the night at a music awards show. The New York Times called her the new face of her sport. They said her effervescence intoxicates arenas, wafts through screens, and infects millions of viewers. Effervescence. The Times chose that word deliberately. Effervescence is what happens when something that has been under pressure releases. When the contained thing finds its opening and becomes something that fills the air. That is precisely what happened when Alysa Liu won in Milan and the hair flip became a clip and the clip became a moment and the moment became 8 million people following a Lucky Charms bowl profile picture. The effervescence was always there. The pressure was the skating world's specific culture of controlled image management and performance anxiety and the weight of expectations placed on children. When the Olympic podium removed that pressure, the effervescence filled every room she walked into. Rockefeller Center lobbies. Vanity Fair red carpets. iHeartRadio stages. W Magazine profiles. You cannot manufacture effervescence. You can only stop containing it. Here is the detail from the W Magazine piece that has received the least coverage and deserves the most. She was asked about water. Specifically about whether she was ever told as a young skater to restrict her water intake. And she confirmed it. She said yes. She said they were like water weight, you shouldn't drink water. She said they told her she should gargle it instead of drinking it. She said it was crazy. She said it was insane. She was a child. Being told not to drink water. By adults in a sport that had specific and well-documented problems with disordered eating and weight management practices going back decades. She said it the way she says most things about her early career. With the specific matter-of-fact disbelief of someone who has processed it enough to report it accurately but not so completely that it no longer surprises them. This is the layer of the "I actually don't want to be famous" story that makes the whole thing more complicated than a celebrity complaining about attention. She did not have a normal relationship with her sport or her body or her public identity from the time she was 8 years old. The people around her controlled what she ate and how much she drank and how she looked and how she performed. 4 years. Until it broke her at 16 and she stopped. And then she came back on her own terms. And she did the hair flip. And she got 8 million followers. And someone chased her to her car at the airport. And the paparazzi found her the day before the W Magazine interview. And a fan ambushed her in the locker room. She traded one kind of control for another. The adults who told her not to drink water have been replaced by 8 million people who want access to her. The specific form of the pressure is different. The fact of the pressure is the same. I actually don't want to be famous. Unfortunately, the things I like to do are just going to make me famous. She said it clearly. She said it honestly. She said it with her skates on in the lobby of Rockefeller Center while bystanders clapped for no reason other than that she was there. Rolling Stone published an interview around the same time that contained a detail the W Magazine piece built upon. She told Rolling Stone she started to hate skating at 14. She said she did not even know what she was doing it for anymore. That it was all really difficult. She was 14. Already the most accomplished young skater in America. Already carrying the weight of expectations that belonged to someone much older. Already being told not to drink water. Already not knowing what she was doing it for. She figured it out eventually. 2 years of retirement. 2 years of listening to Laffy's Promise alone in her apartment. 2 years of being a normal human being who had a driver's license and climbed to Everest Base Camp and made friends who knew her as a person before they knew her as a skater. 2 years of finding out what she was doing it for when nobody was asking her to do it for them. She came back because she wanted to. Because the joy came back when the obligation left. Because, as Taylor Swift said in the Olympic promotional video she narrated for NBC Sports, joy fuels her now. Every jump a celebration. And now the world is chasing her to her car at airports and ambushing her in locker rooms and sending paparazzi to photograph her daily and following a Lucky Charms profile picture with 8 million accounts. Because the thing she came back to when she found her joy turned out to be the most joyful thing American sports has produced in years. And joy, it turns out, is the most viral thing on the internet. She does not want to be famous. But the things she likes to do are just going to keep making her famous. And there is something in that specific trap that is more honest about the relationship between authenticity and celebrity than almost anything else said by a public figure in 2026. The famous people who wanted fame, who worked toward it, who built their identity around the pursuit of public recognition, rarely produce the specific quality of attention that Alysa Liu generates. What she generates is different. It is the response to someone who is genuinely doing what they love and genuinely being who they are and genuinely not asking for the response they are getting. The response arrives anyway. It always does. Because the things she likes to do are just going to make her famous. She said so herself. On skates. In the lobby of Rockefeller Center. While people clapped for no reason at all.